Hi, and welcome to my channel, Laura's Library Card. So today we are doing the Finish the Book tag. I was tagged by Stef over at Novelty Corner. I will leave a link down to her channel down in the description, as well as anybody else I mentioned in this video. Their links to their channels will be down in the description as well. I've gotten to know Steph a little bit from the Paranormal Romance Readathon, and afterwards she's got a great sort of dry humor. She's Australian and she reads a lot of books, and she also reads some children's books or picture books as well, and I think that's awesome, and I think it's because she's a teacher. So definitely go check out Steph at Novelty Corner, and thank you for tagging me, Steph. So let's just go ahead and dive right into the Finish the Book tag. Do you keep a list of the books that you have read? And the answer is yes. I try to maintain the books that I have read on my Goodreads account, and I also have a little spreadsheet that I keep track of. And this year for 2021, I am also keeping a reading journal where I am noting my like thoughts of the book as I read. So yes, I am keeping track of the books that I have read. Question 2 is, if you record stats, which stats do you record? So I just mentioned a spreadsheet. I have considered in the past like doing one of those Mondo huge spreadsheets. A few weeks ago, Izzy from Happy for Now did a live show where she showed her monster amazing spreadsheet, and the math nerd in me wants to do that, but also I know that I am not like reliable enough to follow through on that. So my stats spreadsheet is one that I found years and years ago, and I've just been keeping for a couple years. And so I keep track of the title of the book, and if it is part of a series, I just include that in the title, the author, the date that I finished it, the number of pages, if I've completed it for a challenge or for a readathon, if it's new to me, what format I read the book on, and the rating. And this year I've added a few new columns, which are a little bit of author profiling info, some keywords or tropes, and something else, question mark? Trigger warnings, I think. So I'm trying to keep track of those stats this year. And then, yeah, otherwise I just kind of report the number of pages and books that I've read each month. So question 3 is, do you give star ratings for books? And if so, what do you rate the books out of on the scale? So yes, I give star ratings on Goodreads. I usually do tend to give like half star ratings, and those are marked like in the actual review on Goodreads. But yeah, usually it's like a 1 to 5. I don't know for sure that I've ever given something less than a 1 star, just because I probably would DNF it before I would give something like a half of a star. But yeah, usually it is a 1 to 5 star scale. And that's how I try to give my ratings. For my own personal stats sheet, I have been using decimal points, like a 3.8 or something. So I'm a little more willing to do that when it will do my math for me. Question 4 is, do you review books? Yeah, I have a booktube channel where I review books. So I actually would like to get back into doing a few more individual videos. I know that those videos like don't do well, but also if I have thoughts, if I have like things I want to say about a book, then I do want to do individual reviews, and it's been a hot minute since I've done that, so I want to do that. But also in Goodreads, I do write reviews. That was one of my goals for 2021, is to leave a review on every book that I have read, and so far I've done okay. It doesn't have to be like a full, like well thought out essay level of review, but I want to kind of just, smash the keyboard with some feels. I try to leave a little something for the review of every book. Question 5 is, where do you put your finished books? Most of the books that I read are from the library, so I usually return them to the library. I always return them to the library. And if it's a book that I own, then I would just go on my bookshelves, either here or I have another like short bookshelf out in the living room. Unless it was something that I really hated, that I would give it away or put it in a little free library. So that is where my finished books end up. Question 6 is, how do you pick your next book? Since I started this channel, I have a lot of book clubs, I have a lot of buddy reads, I have a lot of like readathons. So I frequently feel like my next book is already something that that's like already been chosen for me, and it's just like I'm gotta get to it. But I don't read books that I'm not like interested in. But if I didn't have something like that and I just was free to choose any book, I do tend to actually keep a running list on Goodreads of books that I've heard about that I want to read. So I might skim through that. Sometimes when I hear a recommendation, I might just go ahead and immediately check it out from the library, even if I have 27 other things already checked out and 27 things already lined up, and then I might not ever get to it. You know, me check out library books that I never get to. So yeah, I feel like my next book is usually chosen for me, but if I have like 100% freedom, then I usually already have I have an infinite TBR that I sort of keep track of on Goodreads, and that's usually where I get my recommendation for my next book. Or and most of those recommendations are from BookTube videos, so I might, pull up a BookTube favorite person and just like go with their most recent recommendation. Question 7 is, do you have any other rituals for when you have finished a book? And I would say no. Usually when I finish a book, I try to return it to the library relatively quickly. I try to write in my reading journal that I mentioned that I'm trying to keep for this year, and I try to mark it in my stats and on Goodreads, write a little Goodreads review, and that's basically it. Actually, I would love to know someone else's like ritual for when they finished a book. I would love to hear more about that. I should go find other people's versions of this tag. So question 8 is, who do you tag? So if you want to do this tag and you have not done so, then please feel free to go ahead. I tag you, the viewer. But specifically, I'm going to go ahead and tag Christine and Mo at the Roomies Digest. Christine and Monique are roommates in, I think, California. They are hilarious young ladies that are constantly like bursting into song and laughter. And I could just tell like they're so clearly best friends who are loving what they are doing, and they're, full of comedy. So I would love to tag Christine and Mo at the Roomies Digest, and their channel, as well as all the rest of the channels that I'm going to mention, the other couple channels, are all going to be down in the description. So go ahead and check them out. I also tag Moose over at Era Moose. Moose is really sweet. She reads a lot, and she has an adorable son who frequently shows up in her videos, and she also has a dog that's like all white and they call Ghost. And so I really like her reviews of books and her vlogs. She's very pleasant to watch. Also, I'm going to tag Heather at HEA Booktubes. Heather is great. I met her through Romance Tube, and she definitely loves romance and has put out so many awesome recommendation videos. So if you're looking for a trope or a certain sort of subgenre of books, of romance books, I definitely recommend going and checking out a bunch of Heather's romance recommendation videos. So that's it for me for this tag. I would love to hear in the comments any rituals that you do when you finish a book, or what sort of stats that you keep track of. I think both of those things would be really interesting to find out. Thank you so much for watching this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I talk about romance books, but also other stuff too. So yeah, thanks for watching this video. Bye.